which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Danielle, you want to do a roll call, please?
Kevin Scramlin,
Here.
Janelle Keller,
Here.
Teresa Bills,
Here.
Jim Christopher,
Excuse.
Keith Wiederholt.
Here. Approval of agenda, including additions and changes. I do have one addition, make it letter E. It's for electrical and fire department sign. That is the only thing I have. Anybody else have
I have a couple.
anything? Okay.
If we could just amend letter F of the consent agenda, sorry,
Okay.
just to include the figure there, Danielle. Next to the word dues, it should say $2,582.67. If we could add in the Holly Library annual dues. And I did give you a copy of that, Danielle. That is $11,824.
You're adding that into the consent.
Consent agenda, yep, as G. And then if we could add, this is actually in your packet, but it looks like it didn't make it onto the, our list here. Just as letter F, Kyle Bruder is one of our full-time firefighters. His HRA information is in there, it just didn't make it onto one of the letters here, so if we want to just make that letter F.
F for consent agenda?
F under new business, sorry.
New business, okay.
So, if this is the first time that Keith is seeing or hearing about the Holly Library thing, maybe we should just put it as a regular item, or did we discuss that at the budget?
I think we discussed. it.
Yeah, it would be part of
Okay.
it.
Yeah. Any other changes or additions or concerns?
So if I wanted to comment on the minutes, I would have to pull those out.
Correct.
Correct.
Alright, I guess I would like to pull out the minutes from the township board meeting from the 14th of July.
Well, we can pay A and we'll do it first order of business. Anything else? Make a motion, Jan?
I make a motion that we approve the agenda with the inclusion of our additions and changes.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, at this time, we will open public comment. I just asked you, remember, it's not question and answer, it's public comment. And you will have 3 minutes, so decide. Is there anybody that has a comment at this time? All right, I guess we'll close public comment. Consent agenda. We'll pull the minutes out, so we have the accounts payable for general building, fire trust, agency, accept revenue and expense reports for general fire and building funds, accept treasurer's investment report, accept 2020, September 2025 is National Recovery Month and National Suicide Prevention Month, accept the Civic Plus annual dues for that amount, $2,582.67. And then our Holly Library funds, which would be G, was $11,824. Anybody want to make a motion on the consent?
I motion we approve the consent agenda.
I'll second that. Danielle, will you roll call that, please?
Sure. Janelle Keller,
Yes.
Teresa Bills,
Yes.
Jim Christopher's absent, Keith Wiederholt,
Yes.
Kevin Scramlin.
Yes. All right, moving on, presentations, we have our great auditor, Ken Balco with us tonight. Ken, you want to go over your?
So okay with the board, can I stand on that side so I don't have to do that to everybody? Well, good evening, everyone.
I can.
Here for our annual visit. We completed the audit for the township here a month or so ago, and we're here to report on the financial statements. The audit went very well, as it typically does. We appreciate all the help that we receive from the officials and the staff here at Groveland Townships, and also with the fire department. The opinion that we are issuing is what we call an unqualified opinion, which is the best opinion that we can give. And basically it's saying there's no qualifications, nothing came to our attention that says the financial statements are not in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles. That's the 3-page letter that you see right after your table of contents. And quite honestly, that's what you're paying us for. And the state of Michigan requires this audit be done every year. So once they see that it's an unqualified report, they're pretty much good with it, unless other things come to their attention that we report on. Okay? And nothing really came to our attention. There are 2 letters that you'll see with the financial statements included in your packet. One of those letters is what we call our SAS 114 letter. And it's a letter to it's meant more for the trustees, the people that are not here every day. And it's a letter in regards to how the audit went and if there were any items that came up that need to be discussed with the trustees. An example would be if the township decided to not record a liability, which as your auditors, we felt you should record that liability, and you stood your ground and said no, we would have to report that to the trustees. Okay, it's like what we call a difference of opinion. There's a second letter in there, what we call our management letter, and it's our comments and recommendations. And typically with small townships, we have to issue 2 comments. And one of those comments is in regard to segregation of duties. And the purpose we have to put that down in writing is due to the fact the township does not have enough people on staff to segregate their duties the way they should be segregated. However, they're not going to spend another $70,000 to pay a salary for someone else to come in and do what one person can do. We understand that as the auditors, and the state of Michigan understands that, but still we have to put it in writing, just in case anybody ever questions us on that. The second item that we have to put in your report is what we call it's in regards to these financial statements right here, this big thick booklet. Again, because you're such a small township, you can't afford to go out and hire somebody, a CPA, or somebody who knows how to actually write these financial statements. So as your auditors, we write them for you, okay? And we still give the opinion on the numbers. But because you don't have somebody on staff that can do that, again, we have to make the comment. The state totally understands, they've never argued with you about it or anything like that, and we've been giving that comment now for probably 25 years with our smaller municipalities. It's a requirement on us as certified public accountants. Okay? The next item I just want to talk a little bit about are the numbers here at the township. Township remains in very good financial condition. If you could flip your reports open to page 21. And this is a recap of your funds here at the township. It shows your revenues, expenses, and the transfers between the funds. I did go over this earlier last week with the 3 officials, just so there wasn't any surprises, and everybody is good with the numbers. Looking down that first column is your general fund, and that's your busiest fund. That's usually the fund that everybody's most interested in. And you can see your total revenues were $1,902,918. You spent $1,981,693, bringing your you had more expenditures than revenues by $78,775. Here's where the kicker comes in. You had monies come in from your infrastructure fund. And also you had the sale of the property that occurred back in 2014 that you're still receiving monies from that. So when that comes in, your overall surplus turns from expenditures exceeding revenues to revenues exceeding expenditures by $380,564. And that's usually where the township comes in at every year, unless you have a big year with spending on capital type items. And I know in the next few years here, you're going to be spending a lot of money with the park and some other capital items based on discussions that we've had. So it's good to see that you've growing your fund balance to be able to cover for a lot of these expenditures. So you can see your beginning fund balance was just over 7 million, and you finished the year just under 7.4 million in your general fund. So you guys are in excellent shape, okay? Your fire fund, you can see your total revenues were 1,563,775. Most of that comes in from your millage. And when you spent 1,284,253. So the fire department had over a $279,000 surplus for the year. Okay, they had some monies come in from the general fund, just over 11,000. So you finished the year with over 290,000 surplus. Your fund balance ended up at 2,228,551. Okay, again, the fund's in very good shape. Your building department, same thing. You finished the year with a surplus of $42,844. Giving you a fund balance at the end of the year of just over 1.1 million in there. Okay? And then last but not least was your ARPA fund. And that was for the federal monies that the township received over the past few years, and you finally got that closed out. So no more drama on how we're going to spend the federal funds. Is there any questions on that? I know, Keith, this is the first time you've heard one of these reports, and hopefully I'm not putting you to sleep. I'll always be happy to meet with you individually and more on an informal basis, so we can dig in some more of the financial statements. So just wanted to make sure you knew that that offer is out. Okay. Is everybody good with that? Okay. That's really what I wanted to cover tonight. You have what I call a coloring book, your graphs for the township. You'd like to take a quick look at that. It offers the financial perspective and then look at your financial results from a little bit of a different perspective. The first chart is a pie chart of your revenues for the general fund. And you can see it over almost 1,755,000 come in. The second graph is a bar graph of your expenditures, and the big one this year was your capital outlay. The third graph is my favorite because it gives a history of the fund balance here at the township. And so as you can see, in your general fund by itself, your fund balance was approximately 4.5 million, highest it's ever been. So it's good to see that you continue to build that fund balance for these large capital expenditures you have planned for the next several years. And the last graph is a comparison over the years with the fire fund. And they are just under $2.2 million with their fund balance. Are there any questions or any discussion anybody like to have on any of that?
Reminder, these are dated as of March 31st of 2025.
Correct, which was the end of your fiscal year.
Correct.
It won't be long, we'll be starting next year.
Oh, no.
That is true. Thank you, Ken.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Ken.
The only thing I would ask is if the township board could just receive the reports, and then that way we can send it off to the state of Michigan, and you can all set for another year.
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
I motion that we receive the reports from our auditors as submitted.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, I would just like to say, as a first year supervisor, thank you, Ken. The reason that this township is in good a shape as we are is because of the past boards, and they deserve their due. And the other thing I would like to say is, I've never been through an audit like this, so I was curious how it went. These two are outstanding, and their support staff are outstanding. And after I've been in here and I talked to other supervisors that have been there for a while, or even new ones, not only am I lucky, our township is lucky to have the people we do. This is the first year I get to say that. After that, I expect y'all to do your job.
I'll remind you of that.
Yeah, they've done great. So,
Thank you, guys. Have a good night, okay?
thank you.
Thanks,
Ken.
Megan, thank you.
Mr. Clark, I believe the clerk needs to
Are
see
you
you
ready?
from the- Yeah.
So for those of you who were here last month, you know that we recently approved Barry Clark as an alternate for our zoning board of appeals. So you can come on over here.
She don't like her.
I won't bite you, not too hard. So I just need you to raise your right hand and repeat after me. And I'll try not to make it too slow and clunky. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of this state,
and the Constitution of this state,
and that I will faithfully perform
and that I will faithfully perform
the duties of the office of
the duties of the office of
Zoning Board of Appeals alternate
Zoning Board of Appeals alternate
in and for the Township of Groveland,
and in for the Township of Groveland,
the County of Oakland,
County of Oakland,
and State of Michigan,
and State of Michigan,
according to the best of my ability, so help me God.
according to the best of my ability, so help me God.
Congratulations. All right.
Thank you, Barry. All right, public hearings, we do not have
Well,
one.
oh, sorry.
Unfinished business, we don't have any. So new business, Teresa, you want to do, your,
So on the minutes, I just wanted to make a clarification. On page 2 of the township minutes, under BGYA, so it was a new business, BGYA contribution, and in the motion it says, it's listed as a gift of $2,500. It's not a gift, and I don't want it to be confused, like, we could gift them $2,500, but we annually contribute to them $2,500, and so I wanted that to be clarified as an annual contribution as opposed to a gift. It is part of the bylaws for the Village of Ortonville, the Township of Brandon, and the Township of Groveland, along with Brandon Schools, and we all do an annual contribution amount. We are allowed to give gifts above and beyond, but I just wanted that clarified. Okay? Pretty much it.
You know, since we pulled these out, this may not be a big deal at all, but I just didn't know if we wanted to change it for clarity. On page 3, under Tech Park, the township is currently unable to accept bids for the price of the Tech Park land. I just didn't know if that really was accurate.
it's not,
So do you think we should
Yeah.
remove that?
I wondered about that.
yeah.
Scratch that
So
line.
yeah, just remove that first sentence there, Danielle. The township is currently unable to accept bids.
Yeah, the rest of it's fine.
Well, then I'll say this one then. So on the second bullet point there is where is this correct? The township will also contact Mr. Danaskis from DCD to obtain an estimate for comparison. Did we say that we were doing that? Was that part of our discussion and that it was correct?
Yeah, we reached out, he was just getting a broker opinion for us.
Okay.
So,
All right.
that's what it was.
Should we include from a broker? Would you want that in there? Would that make it?
You could, it might clear it up for her.
So to obtain an estimate from a broker
Yeah.
for comparison.
Second bullet point.
Second bullet point, yeah, the township will also contact Mr. Danaskis from DCD to obtain an estimate from a broker.
Yeah.
Maybe that would be
Yeah,
clear.
there we go.
Anything else?
Nope.
That was it.
Okey-doke. On to the next one. Discuss.
Oh, yeah, receive.
Which one?
We just have to receive them. I motion that we
geez, I'm
approve the
sorry.
minutes, township minutes from July 14th as amended.
I'll second that.
All those in favor? Opposed? Next is to discuss Best Vesper Woodson Energy lease, discussion only. We are not making any decisions tonight. Long and the short of it is, we had a conversation with them Thursday, and then, Will Hosler, our council, had a meeting with them Friday. In his terms, he said a productive meeting. So we gave them a list of bullet points that Will had written down during the night, residents concerned, board concerned. Janelle was also nice enough to come up with a list for us, which we also forwarded to them. So we have gave them that information. I am sure by the end of the day tomorrow, we should have a new lease document, whatever you wanna call it, to look at. So really, that's kind of where we're at. Until we see something from them, we're kind of holding that, to be honest.
So, did Vesper submit some sort of an idea to Barry about what they want, like?
They are supposed to be getting, I guess what you'd say, a site plan of what they're gonna require. So that Barry knows. I met with Barry last week too.
And when is that supposed to happen?
This week.
This week?
Yeah.
So, we're just discussing, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, no, you don't go ahead.
So, I mean, I spent quite a bit of time going through this contract, and this contract is 60-something pages or whatever, right? I spent hours going over this. And I feel like there's a couple of things that are not firmed up. Barry's ability to, so I guess I don't wanna see this brought forward for us to make any decisions on until Barry has determined what Barry is capable of doing.
Yeah.
Because until that happens, there's no sense in us even discussing the idea of passing this if we still have some unknowns about, you know, cause Barry does have a pre-existing contract to mine out the sand and gravel. And that's a lucrative contract for him. So I know that our lawyer had made some sort of comments about maybe we could sort of swap something or trade something or do something to, you know, compensate him, but I'm not sure what that would look like. And so prior to even thinking on those lines, I think that Barry's part should be very clear in his ability to do what they want done should be spelled out and committed to or denied
Right.
before we're asked to look at that again. Cause I don't feel like I can make a decision until I know what Barry's capable of
And
doing.
we had that conversation with Barry and Vesper, so the two of them need to figure out
Okay,
where they're at.
okay,
Yeah. No, Barry was in the other day, so he's aware.
all right,
So we're waiting for something from Vesper to tell us we need to something with them.
okay,
That's where we're at with Bedrock.
okay.
Yeah, because Barry does have an existing contract, so obviously he takes precedent,
Yes,
so they're well aware of that,
okay,
so that's what they come up with for him.
okay.
No, I know Will had recommended or suggested a special meeting and a decision like next week.
I told Will today, I said, we're not having any meetings till we're done.
Okay. We never heard anything other than that, the official deadline, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't know that I shared that with you, Keith. Did I tell you that? Okay, September 12th.
Okay.
So we do have a little bit more time.
Yeah.
I think I told Teresa, I had it obviously in
No, I told Will, I said, until this is done, so that the board can decide yay or nay, I said, we're not having no more meetings until
Yeah.
it's done. And to be honest with you, I'm sure they're gonna give us a lease, and I'm sure we're gonna go through that, and I'm sure
Yeah.
we'll be back to them again.
Well, yeah, because of the amount of time it's taken me to go through this one, and then if we're gonna be handed another one, I'm gonna need to, you know, see what got changed and, you know, have a chance to discuss things I might still be concerned about.
And I've told Janelle this, and I'll tell anybody this, I mean, it's a contract, and that's the negotiation, it's them lawyers trying to get language that works for them and language that works for us, and there'll come a point in this board, I'm sure we're gonna have to decide if that language is suitable or not suitable for us.
Right. Right.
You know, that's just the way it's gonna be. I don't, there's no sense in making a fairy tale and saying, well, they're gonna give us everything we want, because they're not. And if we were in business, we probably wouldn't give them everything either. So, hopefully we can get to a point that it's good for us. If it's not good for us, then we'll go from there. But until we get to that point, I'm not bringing it back to the board.
Okay.
That's not fair to everybody, you guys included. So. Keith, got anything?
I did talk to our insurance company today, just to see if there were any concerns from them, since this would still be our land. And he wanted to review the proposed lease, their insurance certificate, so hopefully I'll be hearing back from him too, just in case there were any
Sure.
concerns, so that we're covered if he would enter into something,
Absolutely.
Well, with insurance companies and lawyers, they'll be concerned.
Yeah,
Well, and then we probably wanna know if that's gonna affect our rates as well.
yeah, and I had asked him that in the email, A, would it affect any of our rates, B, could we potentially be dropped entirely?
Yeah,
We don't
right.
wanna work about anything like that, so he gave me a call, and we chatted for a few minutes, and he had recommended, you know, he had a couple of different things that he was concerned about. Oh, I didn't bring my notes in here, anybody familiar with insurance language? Triple something. I don't think indemnity was it, anyway, there's a triple something that he recommended, but I don't remember the word that he recommended. So anyways, he was going to look at that. He did say one of the biggest things, and I assume that will be in our final version, is the biggest concern that they have from an insurance perspective is that transfer, if Winston Energy were to sell, for example, to DTE or to consumers, that is usually when they find the biggest problems. Because of course, everything that we would be agreeing to is not, that contract then becomes null and void, so we would have to make sure that was really secure. So that was, he had mentioned that, I think we kind of, I would hope already know that if
Yeah.
there's a transfer of hands, then we need to protect ourselves there somehow too. But just wanted to share that, so you knew that I chatted with him a little bit today.
Anything else?
I mean, I've got a list, but I don't know if tonight's the night to go through it, so.
You can give it to me, because I'll be talking to Will first thing in the morning.
Okay.
Well, I mean, there are other highlights that maybe would be helpful.
Well, I'll tell you what's, the thing that's kind of got me bothered the most,
Sure, go ahead.
and maybe it's, maybe it is a concern to others, but that is section 18.3. In the ground lease, because let's face it, I mean, if they're gonna do the option, it's probably with the intent to lease. So, this section 18 is all about the restoration and how, what that restoration and removal security looks like. And I'm a little concerned because it looks to me like the language says that they have to provide a letter, let's see. They have to provide financial security for the removal of improvements from the leased premises. But on the third line down, it says on or by the 10th anniversary of the effective date. So my interpretation is they sign it, they don't have to provide something until, like, if 9 years goes by and they still haven't provided this financial security for the removal of improvements that from the leased premise, then they'll have to get it by year 10 or whatever. So it says lessee shall be obliged to obtain and deliver to the lessor, that's us, a bond, letter of credit, or similar security in form and substance reasonably satisfactory to both parties, securing the performance for the lessee's restoration requirements described in the section below, which basically says they should put it back to what it was, minus any ordinary wear and tear. But it basically says that they have to do that on or by the 10th anniversary of the effective date, and it tells how much it should be in this formula, which I don't have a problem with that, but it does say that they shall reevaluate this need every 5 years after the 10th anniversary, but they shall not be required to deliver such a removal security if the lessee is in the process of replacing, upgrading, repowering, or otherwise redeveloping the improvements on the leased premises. Any such event being called an upgrade, or they commit in writing with notice to us by no later than the 8th anniversary of the effective date of its plan to do so. However, in that event, that the lessee shall be required to deliver such removal security on or by the 20th anniversary. So if they say to us that they're getting ready to upgrade and everything, and they don't have to give us, yeah, then it pushes their obligation to give us this, a surety out until the 20th year? I mean, this wording to me is like, we're giving them 10 years to come up with a bond or a letter of credit or security to decommission and reclaim the land, but Vesper's gonna sell it by then, so they're not even gonna be the owners.
I know what you're saying, because I've read the same thing, and I should have asked Will this, and I did. In our wild, they have to bond day one before they start. So does our wild supersede that? Because there's a whole decommissioning part in that wild that was passed. And they literally have to bond before they even start construction.
Well, here's the problem is that if we commit to this, they still can go right to the state without, they can go through us if we have a WIO in place, and our WIO may say that, but at the end of the day, for renewable energy, unless it is explicitly stated in this lease, then that WIO, they'll just go to the
Right.
whatchamacallit, they can bypass that. In that case, the WIO would not apply.
I guess my question is this, is if we pass a law, did they agree to it? Everybody gets along, blah, blah, blah. Does the decommission in there supersede whatever is in there? Because there's quite an explicit plan in our law about decommissioning.
I don't,
So
yeah,
only one.
I think that would be a question for an attorney.
Right.
And if they, yeah, I don't know.
I'll talk to it.
If there's two, then you're.
If there are two different ones, they could
Interpretation.
easily argue, this is what we agreed to.
No, I get that.
Yeah, so I don't know.
I'll check into that.
That would probably should be on day one.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely,
And
I'm
I
like,
knew-
why are
I
we
knew
giving
there
them
was
10
something
years?
in the notes we turned over about that too, but I don't remember what it said.
The ones that I gave,
Yeah, do you remember?
this is what I had sent over.
Maybe it's in yours.
The next steps from Lisa,
I'll find out.
yeah.
Okay. Next question.
Yep.
So we are proposing to give them a lease for 40 years.
Yep, that's what they've asked.
I don't feel like we should give them 40 years, and they have a 2% increase after the 4th year. 2% is $80 an acre. And they, like, I just don't think that that is in our benefit. I think maybe like a 20-year with a lease, with an option to renew, like all the other contracts that we have with the cell towers and everything else, are written in such language as you get a certain amount with options to renew. And I just don't understand, like, to me, it seems like we're giving them way too long of a term at a price that should, just allegedly, if Barry's gonna get this taken care of and he's gonna reclaim it, it's gonna look different than it looks right now. So the reclaimed price should reflect something greater than 4,000 an acre.
Okay.
And that, I mean, that's not, when it's reclaimed, it should be worth more per acre. And if Barry's gonna go in there and do the mining and do the reclamation to their standards, then there should be a benefit to us for that.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, to some extent. I mean, hey, when it's done, it's gonna be a stripped out gravel pit, no matter what it does.
But he's obliged right now to mine that and reclaim it so that it is a usable industrial piece of property.
And I'll be curious what they come back with for reclaiming. I mean, are they talking building a pad, or are you just talking knocking the slopes down? I guess we'll see what they come up with.
And what was Barry going to do in the beginning as part of the original agreement with us?
If you read the reclamations, it's really just get the slopes down to an acceptable level. He would basically be at 980 or 960 is the level he would be at, which is the same level as the property across the street, which is the same as I-75,
Okay,
is basically what the reclamation is.
okay. Yeah, that length, I feel like that length is, frankly, I think it's a gift. And
Yeah,
I
I know
don't feel
the,
like gifting Vesper anything.
I know the cell tower ones we have, which go on forever, they're like 20 years, and then they'll have 3 or 4 options of 20 years.
Mhm.
One cell lease we got, it's like 125 years when it's done.
Yeah, but even our MSP post one is 20 years with
Yeah,
every,
it is.
an option to renew for 10,
or something.
every 10, right?
Yeah.
So I just think that, to me, this just seems like, it's not in line with what we usually do.
Okay. I'm just making myself a note. Anything, Keith? Bruce, anything else?
Well, the other things are, I suppose, smaller, and I don't wanna spend forever on them, but, we can talk tomorrow.
Yeah.
If you're really gonna be talking to Will, I mean, I can sit and show you the things that I was
Well,
concerned
we
with.
will talk all the time, so that's no problem.
Okay,
Everybody sit down.
alright.
Anything else?
No.
You good?
I'm waiting on that one.
Yeah, aren't we all? Alright. We discussed merit increase at our budget meeting. We had talked about trying to come up with a merit plan for the girls that work in the office. And to be honest with you, the board's been kind of stymied on it, so I'm hoping that 2 of us could take this and come up with some type of plan. See if we can make this work, not make this work, get somewhere. So that being said, I've kind of cornered you 2.
Me? You?
Would you 2 be willing to take that and look into it? I think that would be outstanding.
How long would you give us to do that?
2 days. You tell me, how was that?
Well, with this
I was
right
gonna
now
say,
on our
that's
plates,
pretty-
how about,
October, 60 days?
probably that would be fine, like, we can try to have it by the October board meeting, and if we need an extension from that, I'll let you
We're
know.
not gonna fire you. No.
Okay,
But if you could, that would be great.
alright,
See if we can get something, anyway, come up with something.
so we're tasked with either come up with something or come up with a reason
Come
why
up with
we
the
can't.
best thing, yep, come up with what we can do.
Okay,
I'm sorry, that's the flip right over that. Next is discuss our inspector increases. This is for our building inspectors, electrical inspector, heating and cooling. And to be honest with you, I can't even tell you because I wasn't here, but when I've asked, I guess we have not had a raise in 5 years or something like that for our inspectors. So as you can see before, or I shouldn't say before, as of now, township, we're taking in $65 and paying them 40. With this new one, we would still take in 65. We're not raising anything to the residents or any business, but we would pay the inspectors 50. With that being said, I know Brandon raised theirs last year to 55. Holly's at 45. Grand Blank's at 55. Ones around us. So I think just trying to bring this up closer to what the neighboring townships are. And part of that for me is, to be honest with you, these guys aren't guaranteed to be here forever. If we did have to hire new inspectors, I think the $50 is closer to being competitive than 40. At 40, we're the lowest. So, more than open for discussion.
The $65 for the inspection fee,
That's what we collect.
the customer would pay that, right?
Correct.
But with the Delta, is it still funding, is it still covering the cost for the building, for that operation? For the inspection and any other back of house time we gotta spend on that stuff?
I believe so, and hey, just to be completely open with anybody, when we sat down in the audit, our building department has done very well financially, and how's this? We're not supposed to be making a lot of money on the building department, not that we're making buku money, but I think at the $15 is more than enough to keep us where we're at. So I don't see any reason to raise it for the residents. This would just simply be for the inspector pay.
The only question that I have on this, and Danielle, this is probably more for you, these zoning permits, is anyone actually going out? Because I know we have a zoning permit on almost everything, but there's not really like necessarily an inspection. So I'm on board with these.
There should be, really, like if there's because they're for fences and for sheds and to detect the distance of the setback. So there really should be an inspection on them. Because if we're just looking, right now we're just looking.
Is somebody going out there, or is this?
No, not right now, but they should.
Okay.
Right now, it's just a piece of paper they submit, and we're like, okay, you're gonna sign off on this, you're gonna do this, fine. But I think we need that piece of paper and somebody to go look and actually do an inspection on it.
So I guess that would be my only concern, is just,
So I'm understanding you correctly, so with this new deal, then, I'm assuming Jason or whoever is gonna go out and inspect for that fee.
Yes, it would be a site inspection to make sure that floor plan that they've submitted, the site plan that
Right.
they submitted is actually where.
so we're not doing that now, so what will shift here then? Like what will look different now?
Right now, we just charge $35 plus an admin fee for it, but I don't think there's no reason for it unless someone actually goes out there and is checking it. What's the
Right,
purpose?
so if we're gonna pay now, what will look different on that end?
It'll be an inspection fee.
So so he will actually be going, I guess that's where I just wanna make sure that we don't still have just the same paper process, give the okay.
No, this I would like an actual,
You know what I mean?
a physical inspection to go to. So
Right.
that would change, and then that we would pay for an inspection.
Okay. Do you guys know what I'm trying to say here?
Yeah.
Right now, there's a paper coming in, we're getting an okay, so I just wanna make sure we're not still
Yeah.
just paying for someone to rubber stamp a
No,
paper.
we're paying for somebody to go out and look at it.
Right.
What are they looking for a zoning permit? I don't
So
know
the
what
zoning
that is.
permits are submitted, basically to show the layout of the land and where something is going to go on that property. I mean, Danielle obviously is our building admin, and it could probably give you the better description there, but it's like she was just saying, if you have a property and this is where I wanna put my fence, or this is where I wanna put my shed, it shows her or Jason what that site will look like with that modification.
That's not in part of the building permits?
Cause it's, a fence doesn't need a building permit, a shed under 200 square feet doesn't need a building permit, certain things don't need a building permit, but there's gotta have something to go with it stating that they are abiding by the setbacks in the zoning ordinance.
So it's to verify that they're abiding by the setbacks.
Yeah, and right now it's just like, here's my site plan,
So we're going on the honor
we're
system.
okay, you know, okay,
Right,
here's
we're
pay me
going on
my,
the honor system.
yes, so I just think it'd be better if we're all, someone's going out to verify actually what's in front of them.
Do other townships have zoning permit
Everybody has
inspections?
zoning, everybody has zoning permits.
Everybody
Do
does?
they do the inspections on those?
I'm not too sure what they do, but years ago, Jerry Edwards had presented that zoning permit and said it should go with every single building permit, but we don't do that. I only give it out when there's no paper trail for a fence or a shed or something very small.
Oh.
But we're not
I
sure
just
if
wanna
they
make
do
sure-
inspections.
I have no idea.
When
I
you
think
would
it's just a
hold off
rubber
on that
stamp with
one,
most communities.
Well, I just wanna make sure we're not double dipping on them or overcharging them
Oh,
for
for
something
sure.
that, you know, like, but if they're not being given this unless there's no other paper trail, like there's no other inspection that needs to be done.
Yeah.
But we're verifying that they actually are following the setbacks. If that's something we're remiss on, then we should fix, but if that's, I mean, I don't know enough about, you know, whether we have a problem in this area. If you're saying we do, then
I just don't see a point of it unless there's an inspection on it. I mean,
So-
anybody can say, yay, okay, you're gonna put it there, but are you? So, I just didn't see a point of it.
So
Well,
we
maybe
either
we can do a little bit more research on that too, and look at other communities and how exactly they do that.
I'll do that, I'd like to.
I'm on board totally with the rest of them.
Yeah, especially if it's not costing the contractors or the residents any more
Yeah.
money.
No, we're
We're
not.
just taking a little bit more out of the admin fee. I mean, we've automated a lot of it anyways, right? So a
Yeah.
lot of it is online, they're applying and so on, so the actual physical, like, hands-on for our workers here is not the same exact as it used to be. So I think I can get
Yeah.
on board with all the rest of it.
And we did at the, budget meeting, just for anybody who's interested here, we did talk about, you know, discussing increasing this or something.
Mhm.
And they are wonderful inspectors, so they, I think are, you know, well deserved.
Yeah.
Make a motion.
I would motion that we increase the inspector fee from $40 to $50 for all items listed here outside of these zoning permits.
Danielle, would you roll call please?
Sure. Teresa Bells,
Yes.
Keith Readerholt,
Yes.
Kevin Scramlin,
Yes.
Janelle Keller.
Yes.
Thank you for the chart showing the comparison.
All right, now on to the most important thing of the whole night, supervisors' professional development retreat. So I would like to go, it's in October, the 14th and the 15th, it's at Frankenmuth. Neil from MTA, I had to laugh when he's like, oh, you gotta make sure you come to this, that's the most educational one for the supervisor. So it's $367 for the conference and roughly $200, I'll stay one night. So, $567.
I'll make a motion that we approve Kevin Scramlin to attend the supervisors retreat on October 14th and 15th in Frankenmuth for, mileage and, the items he listed for conference and lodging, not to exceed $650.
Sure.
That should cover it.
I would think so.
Chicken dinner.
We'll get
Yeah,
those for
definitely.
free. That's about all you get, probably, for $300.
I'll second.
Keith seconded.
Danielle, would you roll call that, please?
Keith Readerholt,
Yes.
Kevin Scramlin,
Yes.
Janelle Keller,
Yes.
Teresa Bells.
Yes.
Thank you. Letter E, last month we had passed money to put in the electrical at the fire department sign for $4,500. which the guy did me a favor trying to get it together, but the long story short is DTE, with their engineers, they said, well, you can't hook on there, you gotta go back down the road a little bit to the connection point, which then we have to bore under the road, which it is what it is. So long story short, instead of $4,500, the final bill will be $9,557. The only other thing I can tell you is compared to $60,000 and $25,000 to do it two other ways, this is still the bargain. So, I don't wanna say it is what it is, but it is what it is.
So it's about $5,000 more than they expected.
Yeah, exactly, so. With that, I'll make a motion, $9,557, to put in the electrical for the fire department sign.
Well, you really don't have to motion for all that, we've already motioned for the first 4,500.
Oh, yeah, I guess we can put that on, 5,000,
You make
or I'm
a
sorry,
motion
$5,057.
to, and what's it coming out of?
Capital,
This
was
is
it
good.
one?
Still in the.
Still under the station.
400,000.
Yeah,
You think we still have money left in that 400,000?
we better.
I guess we'll find out.
that's-
So, like, when did this happen? Like, they just
When
started?
did I get this?
Yeah, like, were they
Saturday.
installing this and then they were like, oops, can't go any farther?
No, they just sent me an email Saturday morning. That's why it's not on the agenda. I just gotta
Because
get
they found out
myself.
we were having a public town hall.
Yeah, they gave me one kiss, how's that?
Is there a second on that, Kevin's motion?
I'll say.
You want a roll call, please, Danielle?
Where did I leave off? Kevin Scramlin,
Yes.
Janelle Keller,
Yes.
Teresa Bills,
Yes.
Keith Weiderholt.
Yes.
All right. F is Mr. Bruder. Do you wanna go over?
Sure, this is tucked in there in your packet somewhere. This is just, when we, do our budget meeting back in February, we sit down and look at everybody that we have who's working and, determine their HRA amounts. But one of our firefighters, who's not here today, Kyle has recently got married. So the amount for him would of course increase, so that it is now, he's not single, but now he is a couple for the HRA. So as you can see in that sheet, the additional funds there to cover him and his spouse would be $5,049.29. So I would just motion that we accept that amount for Kyle and his wife.
I'll second that. Danielle, you want a roll call?
Janelle Keller,
Yes?
Teresa Bills,
Yes.
Keith Weiderholt,
Yes.
Kevin Scramlin.
Yes.
So that obviously is gonna come out of your HRA budget. And I will move all that over.
John, don't let them guys get married.
I know,
I know.
I tried to talk about it.
But it does relieve its stress, so they'll be making a better firefighter.
I do think you had a little cushion in there though.
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, with that, let's move on to monthly reports. Holly, your youth assistance.
So they just had their recent board meeting, like last week. So I do not have the minutes from that, nor was I present, I was out of town. But, so I don't think I actually have anything from the last meeting, because all of this, they didn't meet in July. All of this is gonna be from that June meeting, so I think I updated everybody on all that last month. Yeah, I don't have anything.
Sure, so with BGYA, picnic tomorrow at Crossman Park at 11 a.m., you're still invited. So there will be school representative, you know, like the directors and things like that from the school, and, from Raymond Township and the village, and, the family court division, so, that is tomorrow in downtown Ortonville. Plans are underway, you know, to continue supporting students this school year through, all the things that they do. So I don't really have a whole lot else right now.
Thank you. Jim's absent, so we don't have planning commission. Keith, I can't remember, did CBA meet?
We did meet last month, we met on the appeal to move the garage closer to the
property line, we did not vote on it at the time, we needed more information, and then, following that, the applicant, pulled their request.
Okay. Thank you. Supervisor. Needless to say, I spent most of last month working on Vesper. But the meeting we had last week, I did want to tell you guys, and I mean this sincerely, I probably had over a dozen people, residents, commissioners, other supervisors, compliment this board and you residents on how well that meeting went last Monday night. So I thought it really spoke volumes about everyone. I do want to remind everybody, DT, the public open house for them is August 21st at Mount Holly, 6 to 8. I can't tell you how many complaints I get about DTE. I hope everyone that has those complaints shows up. This is your chance to talk to them face to face. Really, the only complaints I've had, not the only ones, but one continuous is about how tall the road grass is on the side of the road. Obviously, it keeps growing, but to Chris's credit with the road commission, any complaint I've had, they have taken care of, so I appreciate that. Last Wednesday, our friends at Drake, we had another court date with them, and long story short, the judge finally had enough. So it's with our engineer now, and the township is gonna end up filling it and getting them, they're gonna have to pay for it. The first tire cleanup was the 2nd of August. Actually, I think they said they took in 300 tires that day. But between us and Rose and Holly, we've actually filled one semi-trailer already with over 1,000 tires. So one down, 4 more to go. Like I said, it's first Saturday of each month. But I've told anybody, actually I gotta meet a couple guys up there this week. If there are residents that cannot make it, please call me. I'll be glad to meet you there sometime and get it worked out. I don't want anybody to miss it. It's a great chance to get rid of your garbage anyway.
You have the keys to the signs?
Yeah.
Nice.
One warning I have for everybody, I can't even tell you when it's gonna happen. The Renaissance Festival, when it opens, in MDOT's wisdom, they won't tell you the exact date. I don't know if it's because they don't know or what, but they're going to close southbound 75 exit off of 75 and the bridge up there for a weekend.
Multiple.
So I can only tell you the joy that it is probably going to be. I can't even begin to tell you how excited I am.
Didn't you say it wasn't gonna be this first weekend?
Well, they're saying it's not gonna be. How's this? In an email I got today, they said, well, it probably won't be this weekend. We don't know about next weekend, but it could be Labor Day weekend. So that it's closed off. So, I'm just forewarning everybody. I don't know what's gonna happen. Pardon me?
Yes.
I was gonna say, what?
Yeah.
I just saw that.
Yes, they're
one.
closing southbound Dixie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From where to where? Do you know?
Right at the 106.
106.
Probably past McClellan up to Baldwin.
They're closing Dixie from McClellan to Baldwin?
That spans
Saginaw?
the area of the bridge.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they can get the drainage underneath.
Oh, yeah, okay.
It's great timing.
Yeah.
And you can't go through Vassar Road, cause they're working there.
Yeah, and they have Vassar Road closed down right now as well.
Oh, that's right.
With the sewage.
So, okay.
Buy a helicopter.
Don't anybody?
Or it's a great time to go out of town for the weekend. Leave early Friday and come back late Monday.
Yeah, come back.
Yeah.
That's even.
Oh,
Something else I wanted to ask the board about, we've had it here, what, 2 times already about the noise ordinance?
Yes,
Don't
Yeah.
laugh, Danielle.
Sorry.
been great.
I would like for me and Janelle to sit down and see if we can either A, get that noise ordinance to where we want it, or if we gotta go back to the old one, whatever. I just wanna get it, to bring it back to the board instead of wasting our time with discussions on this. See if her and I can get it somewhere.
We'll trust you on that.
I didn't figure you wanted to volunteer, but.
No, I've already volunteered for another
Yeah.
task.
And the only other thing I have tonight, I think it was 2 weeks ago, John, after a rough Vesper morning, you had a school group at the fire hall when I went by.
Yes.
Thank you, because it really reminded me why we're here. Thank you for doing that. That's it. Janelle?
We did approve those funds for the library in our consent agenda, so just as a reminder, as residents, you have access to Holly Library, and they do some phenomenal events. So we do have some flyers for some of the things that are going on. I received confirmation today, though we already kind of knew this was happening, but I received official ballot language for Brandon and Goodrich schools. Both of those have already been submitted. I'm under the impression that, I know you guys have heard this a couple times already, but now I have lots of people to talk to. I did hear originally that Holly schools would also have something on the ballot for November, but I have not received official confirmation on that yet. But 100% Brandon and Goodrich schools, if you are either one of those, that will be on the ballot in November. We will not have early voting like we do for the state and federal elections. So that is truthfully because unfortunately statistically turnout for school elections is really very poor. So it is a cost saving measure to not have those early days of voting. It is thousands of dollars to offer that. So for these elections, we don't do that. Justin from the fire department was able to come in last week. We were able to get that ordinance car posted, so that went out in the paper last weekend. It's gonna run for a few weekends. And then it is also, it'll be up online and everything, so if anyone's interested in a car, I'm pretty sure it says does not run, but you know, might be your thing. We are getting our new computers tomorrow, so at our budget, we did approve some new computers. We were planning on doing this in October because with the Windows operating system that is on many of our computers, actually I think all now but one, and the reason that one is not an old operating system is because the lightning strike took my computer out, so I had to replace it. But we were planning on updating them, so they're coming in tomorrow to replace everyone's computers. We did, many of you might have noticed all the lovely chairs and tables that were here from the 70s up at the corner. Hopefully some of you were able to grab some vintage furniture. We did have a grant that we had to use up. We had some funds from the election, so we were able to purchase some new chairs for downstairs. So that is really coming together very nicely. We've had that painted and it should be ready to rock and roll for the election. We are closed this Wednesday at 4 p.m. for a staff event. So just an FYI, we are usually open till Wednesdays. We're closed at 4 this week. I did submit our community for a Detroit Institute of Arts grant. They do some different projects in the area. I do have some information here if anybody wants to just see what it was that it was submitted. But they do different artwork throughout a community like parks, community entrances, businesses. It's absolutely free to us. It's just an idea of kind of like a community beautification project. I have no idea if they'll come and do anything here, but if you want to check it out, I haven't heard yes or no either way, but if you're interested in checking it out. If they come in and we say, no, we don't want to do that, that's fine too, but just so you know, I did submit it. CDBG is already geared up again. You'll be happy to know. I have to go tomorrow for that appointment, for that mandatory meeting from 9 to 11. I'm very excited to represent our community for that meeting.
Good for you.
And then other than that, I did finally make a couple of different updates on our website. So we do have our new assessors up there. Keith, you are officially named on there, no longer vacant. So we'll call you Keith now instead of vacant. Somebody else I updated, who else did we need to update on there? I thought there was something else.
Kevin's picture?
No, you're still a tractor, sorry. You are still a tractor. We still need some pictures, but at least everybody's names are up there. So, you know, slowly. Anyway, I think that is all I have for you guys today.
Teresa? just a couple things, summer tax deferments, applications are due by September 15th for your deferments for summer taxes this year. And last month, we had July board review, that resulted in, approval of 2 poverty exemptions and 2 homes that were recapped, because they were, uncapped by mistake. They were either purchased by a relative or the assessor didn't recognize that it was a related person. So they recapped 2 things, and the rest of the things were just clerical. The only other item is that, and I'm just gonna mention this as a treasurer item, the Oakland County Animal Shelter and Pet Adoption Center that requires people with dogs to have dog licenses every year, we will still be selling them here in the township. But I'm assuming that when you get your card in the mail or your text message that says it's time to renew, they're going to tell you about a new option. They have been working on something that is supposed to be easier for the people. We are to direct you to looking to a website called DocuPet, and they will be providing brochures and postcards to us, but I imagine it'll probably be on the paper that they send everybody, with a way for you to go directly to that website, and you can renew your your dog's dog license that way. You do have to submit proof of vaccination and all that. If you do that, then obviously you don't need to come in here to do it. But we are still going to offer that because I don't know what that option is going to look like online for people. I don't know if they're going to be able to immediately get a document that says, here's your dog tag, and then they'll send you one in the mail, or if you have to wait. So maybe if you want a document in your hand the day of, like, you can still purchase them here. But you know, they want everybody to do everything online these days. So, but we're still going to maintain that customer service and the option for people to come in here to the office to get their dog tags in the future. So those are the only items that I have at the moment.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, you know what? I will just mention one other thing. This year, the last day to pay summer taxes is Monday, September 15th. So the 14th is on a weekend, and of course, we're not gonna make that the due date. So I just wanted to remind you that, because I know, but I think we do have a board meeting before that. I think we do have a meeting. Okay, that's it.
Just one more thing, Kevin.
Yeah.
So, we did have the no hazards last month on the 19th.
Yes.
On M24 at the Kensington Church, there was 827 cars. It was pretty well attended. It was a good day. The last one of the year is Saturday, September 13th at the County Service Center.
Yeah, they continue to get a good turnout for that one.
Yeah.
Because the first one we did was what, like 1,100, but they're still getting something at their service.
They said that one at Kensington Church is usually about 800, so it was still high, but it's lower than the others. That one's not as busy as some of the others.
Thank you. This time we will open public comment. If somebody's got a comment, go right ahead, sir.
Paul and Rose Kerr, we've been in here 19 years now, love it here. Just want to comment on the audit. Even though I hate giving you guys money to do everything that needs to be done, really, with all the crap in the world right now, I'm really happy to hear that.
Thank you.
That's all I want to say.
Thank you. And like I say, it's really the past boards, these two, we're
Yeah,
very,
but it's a continuing history, and that's really good,
Yeah.
good to know.
we're very fortunate, no doubt. Anybody else?
I have a question about the vests.
Yes, ma'am?
Last meeting, you said that the Holly schools would be getting some money. What about the Brandon schools? Would they be closer in, as far as if it were to be on the township property? Would Brandon schools be closer than Holly?
property sits in Holly School District.
Okay, that's
It's
why.
how they get the tax money.
Okay.
Anybody else?
Now they're, not to interrupt, but if those, what was it, community?
Oh, community funds, yes, I'm
Funds,
sorry.
if the board had determined that the community funds that Vesper was contributing, if they wanted to allocate those to Brandon schools, let's say, that might be an option.
Sure. But as far as the tax dollar, it'll go to Holly Schools, because that's where it's located at.
Yes, I'm going to, I know we're not supposed to ask questions, but I'm going to form my comment. I have 3 questions that I'd like you to take note of, because there are things that I'm very interested in, knowing if they would be included in this contract. Some of it is what we talked about before, but first, there was an article in the Citizen this last week, and a lot of people weren't aware of it. It got fanned out to us. I'm not on Facebook, but evidently someone on Facebook saw it, whatever, and they fanned it out to a whole bunch of us. And the article is titled Groveland Township Board Tables Vote on BES. Decision off agenda for August 11th Board of Trustees meeting. And then there's an article about that. And then the thing I'm interested in is on the second page of this article, there's a picture of greenery and lines, electric lines. And the caption under this picture says, ITC lines in Atlas Township. Earlier this year, Atlas Township officials approved an ordinance in the event of BES and other green energy companies filed to build a facility. Now, my question is, can we get a hold of Atlas and find out what in the world they passed and what kind of wording they had in theirs? I think that would be very interesting. The other questions I have, one that Teresa brought up some time ago, the gravel pit north of Grange Home Road was rejected by Vesper and Woodson, whoever, because of the unacceptable issues from past mining. Did we ever get that figured out? Did they ever define what that problem is? And is that a third option, which would be a little farther away?
Wetlands. That was their beginning as to why they were saying that. And if you ever look at a lot of maps around here, it basically shows this whole area as a wetland.
Oh,
So until they had a wetland
okay.
delineation, that's how that came about.
Okay. The other thing I would like for you to know, which is a question, how does Vesper, according to this new lease contract, how does Vesper get out of the whole thing if technology changes and they don't need it anymore? And then whose baby is that? A big mud puddle? Is it ours? Or are they instructed with the, restoration, whatever, that if technology goes poof and something else gotta be done, how they're gonna deal with it, so we don't have to deal with it?
And that would be in the
Those are,
decommissioning part.
I'm sorry?
That would be in the decommissioning part. The only thing I can tell you on that I know for sure is it says somewhere in there, if it's not functional for a year, they have to take it down.
Thank you.
It says that where?
Somewhere in that paper, I've read it.
How did I miss that? I'm not telling you, I read every line. Okay, I'm gonna have to go back through it again.
I said, I gotta go buy it.
Sorry, Teresa.
I'm like, I don't remember that, but that's
There's only
okay.
60 pages, come on.
Yeah, and it's such exciting reading.
Oh.
It's just nighttime reading.
Carrie?
Instead of your novel.
Carrie, did you have your hand up?
Sure, I'll chat again, why not? You all just love me by now, I know you do. I just, want to really encourage you all. I know we have Will. Will's a great guy. I've been listening to him since last year when he got invited after July or August and thought, who's that guy? But I wanna just make sure for your benefit that you do some more research or make sure maybe Will's got some buddies that can really know what the legality of the circumstances are. Drawing up this lease agreement at his level might require some additional lawyer information. That's the best way I can say that, because I'm still investigating that. Yeah, and I'm being very, very respectful of him. Yeah, no, respectful, because I don't wanna, disrespect his position or the boards, but this is a whole new ballgame, and like somebody mentioned last Monday, this is gonna be the biggest decision that this board has ever had to make, and to vote a yes or no. And you will be on record for your decisions based on what is done or what isn't done, and in our near future, and it's concerning. On the Groveland Township website, it's a screenshot, so, I probably can't easily get to it. I've asked for ease of access for a while now. Yeah. To your website. Love y'all there. I know it was worked on for a while, but you know, I mean, I worked on a website a year ago and it's already way outdated for something that I do. So, but right on your property features, when you're talking about the mines of, that's over here, the mines of Oakland County, under property features, you state that the acres total 188 plus, 112.75 acres are owned by the township plus additional, 75.63 acres are available, 80% of the Michigan population is within a day's drive. You got a low property tax rate, approximately 48 mils, direct access to Hollyoaks ORV parks without loading or unloading your trailers, the sites connect. But within that, and I have highlighted this, you also say that the site sits on what is estimated to be a major aquifer. It's right on your website. I don't know if you guys have done your research, but this one I know very well, and I won't take up a ton of time. Go back to my August 5th letter. Danielle's probably got a copy of it. I may have even emailed it, but with it being on a major aquifer, and if there happens to be a fire, with all due respect to you, John, and I know you'll get your hazmat training, but once that is escaped, there's no going back, and including water. PFAS and PFAS have not been able to be corrected even on the Michigan or the Muskegon River in areas that they have up there from companies, and that's not even a BESS. So our wells would be polluted. There's no turning back from this, is my point. So with everything you guys are looking at the lease, please remember what we put in there, and if you do decide, I would put within that lease, go back and look at Kingpin is one of the ones. It's in by August 5th, or something like that. And they should be looking at a BESS every single month and inspecting a BESS every single month. And what's in that lease doesn't say that. In 10 years out, to say you have to, that's common knowledge. I can provide you with that information. I found that last year. So with all due respect, you really need to have this thing inspected every single month by an independent.
No, it'll be constant. It'll be constantly monitored.
Well, I know monitored by their, if I understood right, and please, if you wanna tell us, that would be great information. How will it be constantly monitored?
In the wire, they have to give us access and data live, so we can monitor the condition of the batteries to see.
Who has to, though? Is that Vesper?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's in the wire,
So-
so it's covered.
I'll be quiet, go ahead.
I was just gonna ask, so does that mean you guys are gonna monitor it, or they're monitoring it?
No, they'll provide us with the data,
Yes.
so we can monitor the condition.
So it's still down to the site.
No.
Those can be falsified.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No.
Anybody else?
Corporate America?
Oh, I'm sorry, Pat.
Yeah, just, I guess, one concern on the same note, one was listening to the attorney here, and I don't know from Adam, but the one word that does stick in my mind, if not my craw, is the fuzzy. We need less fuzzy in there, or sketchy, or any of those words. But getting to the, for the PFAS and that, this is evolving as we speak. We don't know what it's gonna be like in 5 years' time, let alone 40 years' time. The only ones that would probably be here are the two lads over here in the corner. So if there is a major leak, if there is a major fire, we're talking about hundreds of thousands of gallons of water. I know you're saying that the theory now is misting. That's not what has happened in these other places that have had these fires.
Correct.
So they're still dumping water on. and you're going to reach the point where you're going to have to dump water on it.
I don't have to put water on it at all. It's not going anywhere.
Well, if it's contained properly, which is what you had said earlier.
Yeah, dry isolated and contained.
Okay, but no place, there are very few this size, not just in Michigan, but in the world. This is gonna be huge. So you are a guinea pig on this also, and I don't really want to be the other guinea pig on the wheel with you.
No, I don't know that in favor.
You know, and that's my fear, is that with this aquifer being downwind, about 10, 12 years ago, we had the big fire at the wood chip place there, the same area. And, I mean, I'm downwind from that, and for a couple of weeks, I was smelling that. Wood chip's fine, battery acid, not so much. So, there's nothing you can do, and it's nothing anyone can do. Now it's happening. I mean, there's not much anyone can do about it, going back on it now. But I don't want to be in a position, if I am still here with these 2040 years, saying, geez, you know, I think I brought that up. And there's not enough that you can do, and everyone in the world is going to be looking to you, because you will be one of the few that has this size of a plant in your jurisdiction.
Correct.
So, again, with the attorney and the fuzzy, nothing.
Thank you, Pat.
Can I ask you, what makes you so confident that this is not gonna happen?
Well, anything's possible, but all the safeguards and technology that's come about, all these incidents that you're reading about, they're from older units. So the likelihood of it happening or decreasing exponentially. And
So the one in January in California, that was new, old technology or new?
older unit.
But when that was being built, I'm sure they were in the same position as us right now, and they were told the same thing. Geez, you know, with the most modern technology going, this won't happen, you know?
Yeah.
But a chance of sending them out to the moon,
No,
but that's happened.
trust me, we've been in contact with the industry engineers from, like I said, the guy from Texas who does the UL testing and writes for the NFPA code. He does all the testing on them, and he is confident in the technology nowadays compared to the old.
But you also brought up the WIO fact that this is all under that. But you had brought up that if they don't like what they hear, they can just bypass that. And so, unfortunately, we're carrots dealt. They don't have to follow what you're saying.
Correct, all we have to do is, hopefully we can steer them in the right direction, because there's nothing we can do to stop them with the A233, so.
And Pat, to that, not to jump in your conversation, but I know the board, and they have been given that we are trying to work in there that they have to abide by a WIO.
The board does. But they
Vesper
can-
does. Vesper would have to abide by a WIO.
Right, that's what I'm saying, but the board has brought that up, but they can bypass that and just say, yeah, the board.
We're trying to get that in the agreement, that they
In
would
the
have to.
lease, that they have to.
That they have to agree to go with
So
our
they
WIO.
can still, if they don't like that, then they can go back to plan A, which was.
Or if they don't like that, it's probably, that would be up to the board to not sign the lease at that point. And then, yeah, they could go to the state.
I think he meant if they didn't want,
Bas-
like
yeah.
if they didn't like the WIO when it was created. So
Oh.
another thing we had proposed, and I don't know if this is an option, but this was something that was brought up last week in the meeting, was the termination of the agreement at the Tucker Road location.
Right.
So if they were committing to this, would they terminate that land lease option, or whatever it is that they have in place? I don't know the exact language. I have no idea if that was something that.
Option to purchase.
Right, but I'm saying I don't know if they agreed with the attorneys,
Yeah,
then I
we
don't
have-
know if that
we haven't
ended
saw
up,
that
you know,
back.
becoming a part of that new lease, but that was something that was forwarded as a recommendation. So that, cause I understand what you're saying, if they don't like this WIO, they can start over back at that Tucker Road location.
Right.
And obviously, the idea, I think, is if this board was to like this idea of moving it, it would be
with the idea that that isn't an option anymore at Tucker Road. But obviously none of us know what that is. Just to, respond to that aquifer, it is a concern of mine too. I've been trying to do a little bit of research myself. It's something Sandwood, Marshall sandstone aquifer, Marshall sandstone aquifer. I was doing a little bit of research today, NFPA 855. Do you have access to that in its entirety? I might have to look at that, because I was trying to read about that today, because it does specify what they can and can't do with that. And I was curious about that myself, especially because that levee pit is just south of there and is exposed entirely.
It's the open aquifer.
It is the open aquifer.
And that will affect, I'm sorry, it's our wells, even if it's the eye, whatever it goes.
So is that not also underneath at the Tucker site too?
I would have to look, I just started kind of looking into
The map that I
this.
saw before is, there's an aquifer right there at Tucker also.
Oh, it could be the same one.
It could,
Is that what you're
it
thinking?
would be, because it is massive.
It is massive.
But it is definitely, it is exposed at the levee pit.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Is this the same system that's going in Trenton as well?
Same system?
Trenton, yeah.
I don't know what's going in Trenton.
Yeah, I couldn't answer that, to be honest with you.
They imported the ED.
Yeah, I was gonna say
plant,
DTE's putting that.
And they're putting batteries down there.
It probably is that.
Yeah, it's gonna be beautiful, it's right between the river and the lake. So what happens, then you ain't gotta worry about the well. Oh, the state's gonna be polluted.
I'm sure it'll be contained.
Is there anybody else? We're good? Oh, yes, ma'am, I'm sorry.
Kathy Brooks, question, Teresa brought up two really good points. 2% is ridiculous. 2% as a raise is ridiculous. In the 10 years, like you said, with the, getting the bond is ridiculous. It should be from day one.
Yeah,
for that.
and that's what we
Yeah.
proposed in our,
And
so we'll look into
2%
that.
is insane. Already giving, you'll appreciate this, I'm a farmer's daughter, already giving away the farm as it is at 4,000 an acre.
There you go.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
Do we know how that compares with other places that
As far as what's that?
they,
What you're paying.
they're paying? Is there like a going rate for, I know every different area, the property values are different.
Not that
They
I-
have to have something in their planning that
Yeah.
they go by.
And not that I've seen, Pat, and part of that is, you gotta remember, most of this stuff is put on private property, so it's not public knowledge.
The other option to purchase with the other property has got all that redacted.
Even if it affects the whole community, there's no.
Well, they don't have the price they're paying. Their lease is an option to purchase, their agreement is an option to purchase, starting November 7th of 2023, for 4 years. So, but that's all it really states.
Anybody else? Alright, so make a motion to adjourn.
I will make a motion to adjourn and open for the fire board meeting.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
John, the floor is yours.
All right.
Boy, John, you have to get right on.
Pretty expensive, aren't I? All right. Thanks for hearing me tonight.
Remind me never to put you in charge of a fundraiser.
No, right? Start off with apparatus and equipment. We finally gotten the air trailer that was donated to us by the DNR. MES came and picked it up. There's a little bit of a problem there because right at that time, the MES, or was previously West Shore, was the contract holder for the depot. They were the only rep in the state in service on it, and it kind of fell through the wayside while they were restructuring the company. So that's why it sat for so long, but they finally taken it over there so they can do the service and get it repaired.
What is the air tank?
It's to fill the SCBA tank, so it's basically just a compressor on wheels.
So like the tank
Yeah,
is-
it's the same thing we have in the stations, other than it's driven by an engine and we can take it right to site and fill them up. Cause we only carry one replacement bottle for each pack, so if you have any extended scene time, then you're running out. We replaced the engines, or the batteries on engine 1. 482 had new front brakes, the pads and rotors were replaced, and I finally got a guy out to look at the extractor washer at station 2, and he said it was beyond repair. The circuit board, I think he said between $1,600 and $1,800 to replace on it, and then he doesn't even know if other components are any good, and he suspects they're not. So next year we'll be looking for a grant to replace that. Yeah, at least once we get the new station open, we have a brand new one sitting there that we got from a grant last year.
Sure.
To go in there. On to personnel, I request to hire Christian Pinckney for the position of firefighter medic. Several of our guys know him. He went through medic class that Kyle Bruder taught a couple years ago, and he said he's an exceptional medic. He also works in the Holly Village part-time, so I think he'll be a great addition. I request to hire him for the position of firefighter medic, contingent on his background.
I think we actually submitted it last week. We should be clear.
Okay.
I motion that we hire Christian Pinckney for the position of firefighter medic.
I'll second that. You do roll call, please, Kevin.
Teresa Bills,
Yes.
Keith Weiderhold,
Yes.
Kevin Scramlin,
Yes.
Janelle Keller.
Yes.
When you say medic, is that just short for paramedic?
Paramedic, yep.
Okay, thank you.
Community risk reduction, I really thought this was gonna be an extremely long meeting, given the lease agreement, so I didn't include any of that. I'll update that next month. EMS, I had request to increase our ambulance billing rates. I spoke with Kim, and she suggested that we raised our rates to equal what they're charging Star. It's not a great deal, but every little bit we can will help. She said that some insurance companies will pay more, but Medicaid and Medicare will obviously get their fixed amount, which is about a third of that. So
Sure.
she said they have pretty good luck right in the middle ground, and it's right where we should be, so. Request to increase the rates. Would you like me to read them all off?
No.
Okay.
I will make a motion that we increase the ambulance billing rates to the proposed ones listed in John's fire board packet dated August 11th, 2025.
I'll second.
Roll call, please, Daniel.
Keith Weiderhold,
Yes.
Kevin Scramlin,
Yes.
Janelle Keller,
Yes.
Teresa Bills.
Yes.
Okay, then you have the EMS report cards, and they are attached as usual. They're all pretty good. Even surprisingly, Genesis is we're all pretty good on that round. Unfortunately, I don't know if I told you before, but Genesis is losing their trauma level status. They're just waiting on a letter. Right now, they're a trauma level 2, so they're letting that go. They'll be a level 3. So that's pretty unfortunate for us because that's going to increase our
Gotta go to
transport times. We're gonna have to go to Hurley or down to St. Joe's, McLaren, or Beaumont, so that's really gonna hurt us when Mount Holly opens up.
Can you, why? What's happening?
Can you?
Because they don't wanna staff their ER, or their OR, I'm sorry. They don't wanna have a surgical crew on standby.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, I think they're gonna lose a lot, and
Yeah.
they're gonna fix that shortly. On the other hand though, We just started a study where we can increase what we transport to freestanding facilities, so that would be the McLaren Clarkston and McLaren Oxford. Before we were limited on what we could take there, but we're gonna increase the types of ailments we can bring there, because they did a study, because surprisingly some companies were bringing the wrong people there, and Med Control found out. We audited them, and it actually came back to a very low percentage of patients were transferred out from their facility to McLaren, Maine, or down to Beaumont.
So you might be able to.
That hopefully will offset a little bit for us. It's a great place to go because they're really quick in and out.
Sure.
They don't have the amount of traffic, and they're not having patients waiting beds in order to find beds on the floor for them.
Yeah.
Once they get them registered.
Well,
So.
that's what, even Genesis, I feel like the last few times I've been there, they just, I mean, there was one day I was there until 3, 4 in the morning waiting for my father-in-law, and it was
Yeah.
packed.
It's pretty bad. They're waiting to go on strike again. It'll be pretty soon here. So we'll see what happens.
I know.
Wow.
And then on our trainings, Kyle's put on the PALS and ACLS classes, so we're doing it in-house now, saving us quite a bit of money. So we'll be doing those a couple times a year to keep everybody up. And then for our fire training, we have the driver's training rodeo set up again at Mount Holly there. So that's an annual requirement for us, and Justin's pushing everybody through their engineer training pretty hard, and he's doing excellent at it. I've gotten pretty good feedback on his program. So hopefully he'll be getting us more engineers here pretty quickly. And then for grants, Stacy's done a great job, and she's gotten us the Auto Group Foundation, which is a AAA grant for $2,700. We put in for safety vests to wear on the roadways.
That's not a matching grant, right? That's just
No,
a flag.
no, that's 100% funded.
Good job.
Agency.
Good job, Stacy.
Yeah.
Excellent. I
You're
gotta
doing pretty
update-
good.
I-
You
yeah.
go.
I have to update the Stacy got us these grants chart. I have a chart.
I don't think we'll hear from FEMA on the 18th.
Yeah, unfortunately not. It's a lot to navigate through everywhere to find the available grants. I mean, there's a lot of time that goes into just finding
Oh,
what we
Right.
can apply for, and then
no doubt.
coming up to applying for them.
Well, if you have one waiting at FEMA, our cybersecurity one is still waiting at FEMA, I forgot to mention that. We're still waiting, so, we've been approved, but it's at FEMA waiting, so if you're waiting on FEMA for, what are you waiting on FEMA for?
A safer grant.
Okay.
And there's another one
They just,
we're looking into, another one that just opened up.
yeah, it's funded, there's $1 billion in it, but they haven't released any of the information about what they're opening it up to.
Oh.
So, we're waiting to research that one.
Sure.
Hopefully a lot for us. The alarms you see were pretty consistent with what we've been in the previous year. We had 92 calls, and on the 31st of last month, we were at 625. No remarkable calls or anything of special interest happened through the month. Township attractions, the Michigan Renaissance Festival is opening this weekend. We were out there all day today working on setting up the EMS room, and it should be a lot better this year. Chip's excellent to work with, so hope good things come of it.
You'll probably be directing traffic.
Yeah, probably. And then on to community outreach on Wednesday, August 13th at Brandon Community Park. They're hosting a Touch a Truck event. We have a ladder there, and everybody else will have their trucks there as well, from 6 to 8 p.m. And then they're having a movie in the park after that to follow. Obviously, we'll come back and be in service. But. We also had a splish splash event at Groveland Oaks that we participated in, brought the trucks out there and sprayed water on the kids. They love it. We did the same thing at Oaks 2 weeks ago, over the weekend. And like you said, that was Dixie Baptist Church that was out there when you drove by and saw them.
That was good.
Yeah, Russ is really good at doing that, since Angie works there, so they came down.
Well, I'll be honest,
In
I was not having
Springfield.
the best day when I drove by,
So
but
it's,
that made me feel
it's,
better.
yeah, it's pretty cool to see them out there having fun, all grins on their face, they get to spray the hose. And that is all I have.
Any public comment from you?
Couple of questions. When's the new fire hydrant open?
It's probably gonna be about 2 months out yet.
He told me,
Yeah.
he told me a month
Yeah,
yesterday.
yeah, that's wishful thinking, just like the 16th, right?
I was gonna say, they don't have that open house.
You know,
on the
it's okay though,
Should've.
it can take as long as they want, as long as it's done right.
Done
I
right.
have a building right now, and as long as it's set when we move in,
Good for you guys.
we're in.
What are our options living in Groveland Township if we have an emergency? What hospitals are you able, does it depend on the emergency, what it is?
It does depend on the emergency, say if you were having a heart attack, so that's a priority, we'd have to take you to the closest facility, which is Genesis. They do have a pretty decent cardiac
Okay,
program in there, so.
okay.
And, cause stroke, it depends on what kind of stroke as to where we would take you, unfortunately. We could always take you to Genesis, but now they're changing the protocols for us, breaking them up into a hemorrhagic stroke or an occlusive stroke, a clot. So we're gonna have to be transporting them to different hospitals.
So basically, if we were to have an emergency, you come to the house, is it up to you where?
Yeah, we'd evaluate you and
Okay. Just wondering. if
determine
we
which.
Needed to do any
facility.
research on hospitals or anything, or if we really didn't have the
Yeah.
choice.
The way it used to work is you went somewhere, they'd evaluate you, and they'd go, oh yeah, we can't handle it, we'll ship you out somewhere else. Well, who wants to pay for that hospital visit and that ambulance transport when you have to pay for another ambulance transport and hospital visit? So if you just take them to the right place the first time, you get treated a lot faster and a lot cheaper.
Okay, no, I won't take your time, but.
No, you're good.
We live at, second house from 15 on Groveland Road, which is the farthest away from both fire departments,
Mm-hmm.
firehouse. And it, we did have fire, got it out, but Brandon couldn't come, they're like 0.6 of a mile away.
Oh, no, actually, the way that's set up now is if a fire comes out, a confirmed fire through dispatch, we have a whole system of calling everybody. So dispatch does it automatically now.
Okay.
So as soon as there's a confirmed fire, heavy smoke or visible flames, Brandon's dispatched automatically to us.
Okay.
And then we're dispatched and Independence is dispatched.
Yeah, cause less than 1 versus 7 or 8, big difference.
Yeah. Yep. So as soon as it comes out confirmed, we have 8 or 10 trucks coming.
Okay, cool,
So
thanks.
we don't have to get on scene anymore and say, oh yeah, it looks like a fire sent us this person, which
Yeah.
puts all the response, 10 to 15 minutes out when we could have already had it going. So it works out pretty well.
Good.
Especially, everybody has limited manpower now, so it especially works well.
But everybody looks at cost too, their own little way too, so.
Yeah, well, it works well because it offsets the cost because we have a ladder and Brandon doesn't.
Right.
Brandon has things that we don't have, so we all kind
Sort of
of.
like the old farmers used to do it.
Yeah.
There you go. You gotta swap.
Yeah. Who's at the Baylor? Yeah. All right, thank you. Never stayed this late before, very informative.
I think I said the ordinance car earlier, didn't I? I meant to say the old chief's car. That's our dead one.
Yeah, the Chiefs car doesn't run, the ordinance
Yeah.
car still runs, but it just has electrical
Did
issues.
Justin talk to you about that?
He said he talked to you and that's about as much as I
Well, cause our intentions were to have them both posted, but he thought maybe there was interest in you guys maybe keeping that, or? Okay,
I don't see that look on John's face.
well, I thought that too, but I think he was feeling like you guys use it frequently, or like, you know, if you just have a basic on duty, that provides a car for them to go back
Well, it
and
does, but at
forth.
this point, it's beyond being reliable,
Yeah,
so.
Okay.
It's not.
okay, so I can go ahead and continue with that, all right. The second thing I had just kind of chatted with him about, and he gave me a really good answer, but I don't remember it, so now I'm just asking you. I know you've brought up, you have a lot of people that are really interested in taking some classes, but there really haven't been any available. I know Groveland, many moons ago, used to provide, didn't we have like EMT or fire classes?
Yeah, we used to do the fire, and actually the EMT and the paramedic class that we put on here way in the past was put on by Genesis. But unfortunately, because all the requirements now, they've moved it to CAPSI, the accreditation you have to have,
Okay.
and we can't get it because you have to be at college. So it's just a money grab on everybody's part.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the National Registry.
Okay.
It's just a money grab to limit.
Okay. Well, I tried.
Did we, I thought we had, offers on both of those cars like months ago.
I think it was Justin.
It was Justin.
Yeah. It might be Justin again.
I was gonna say, Justin may end up buying them now. But no, I think we decided at that time to put them out to everybody was the only fair way to do it, is why we're at,
Yeah.
where we're at, so. Anybody else? I know you wanna make a motion to adjourn, Tracy.
I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
Second that, second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Yeah.
I don't think we've ever done this.
You're welcome.
It's awesome.
Did you even see it?
Who seconded the motion?
Yeah, I think it's really cool.
Teresa, motion. Who seconded that? Keith?
Kevin.
You second, Keith did?
Yeah. Well, and I didn't really go into it, but if there's probably people who've never used it, but they do.
My meetings were
So-
twice a month.
Yeah, when we're done.
I have several.
Oh, yeah, we're always gonna have needs on Mondays.
Yeah.
Every Monday, just show up.
This is fun because we get.
No, when we're done, it's big.
Oh, okay, well, as long as it's fun.
No, this is not.
That'd be
This
great.
is actually because we get the people in the question.
Oh, yeah.
Like you screw up.
Yeah, we got extra
Oh, yeah.
comments.
Okay, well, that would be
And then
fun.
we-
If I could do that.
It just, I don't know why it flies by. And then we kick them out, we deliberate.
Oh, yeah.
Bring them back in and say, hey, guess what? That part's really fun, but nobody gets that.
Especially because I.
That's just where that number comes from, if you did want to know.
So Holly Library restriction, it makes this on,
Oh,